Hey guys, today I'm going to be talking about the environment and how it affects a lot more in the political sphere than some might originally realize. I identify as a conservative on a lot of big issues, but on this one, I think I understand the liberal position more. Conservatives are too often ready to sacrifice the environment to save an extra buck or make a manufacturing process a little bit more efficient. Now, I think in politics, a line needs to be drawn, it needs to be set, and it cannot be crossed. And I think conservatives understand this on issues like the First Amendment and on abortion, but I think they fail to recognize it on or in the environment and when talking about the environment. One case of this is the Hetch Hetchy Dam project. Now, this was in the early 1900s. The city of San Francisco had a population increase and the water supply was dwindling. So there were many rivers to choose from which they could have dammed up, but they chose the one on preserved land because it was government owned property, so they wouldn't have to pay private owners for the land. That would be a lot more expensive. And I see a problem with this. You need to draw a line, you need to preserve land, and you can't cross over. Once you make exceptions, your stance isn't as strong. People are not going to respect you as much. The population of San Francisco might have been increasing, but the population of the world in general is increasing. We try to fight deforestation of the Amazon rainforest, but what are the Brazilians supposed to do? Their population is increasing, and there's where you get to the root of the problem. You need to find some sort of effective means by which to control population. Now you see people proposing ideas and countries implementing ideas, and I have problems with what I've seen so far. What I've seen, China's one-child policy. I had a problem with that. I think that large government and bureaucracy should not be directly involved in controlling population, although they are going to be necessary for indirectly affecting people and their motivation behind having children. I'll elaborate on that later. Bill Nye proposed a policy. He said, I don't think he proposed a policy. He said that we need to start thinking about population control, and I think that he's on the right track. But I think that the way he would go about it would be too involved on the federal level. So, in the book that I wrote, I outlined a plan for controlling population and therefore protecting the environment. And here it is in its simplest form. It says that individual communities should have a certain amount of pollution which is allowed. They control the number of people which are being born. They can do that through a number of things. This would be on the communal level, though. The federal government would not be involved directly in there. They would only be involved in controlling pollution. Now, what you see today in America is we make exceptions. We say New York has a lot of people, so the amount of pollution being released by that community is going to be more than that of a small rural town. And what I'm saying is there should be no giant garbage can like New York existing. There should be communities where you have some sort of accountability. They don't get a pass just because everybody clamors to New York. Large concentrations of pollution are a lot of the problem. It's like waste management, or when you have a hog confinement. You have a lot of manure, but when you spread it out, it's less of a problem. It's a problem when it's concentrated. Now, moving on to what Western countries have done already. And Sticks Hammer 666. I've been watching his YouTube videos, and he made a similar point. When I use the term Western, when he uses the term Western, he means countries that follow a system which is similar to that of America and Western Europe, but it also includes South Korea, Japan, Australia, countries that are outside but share common values with us. It's not a white thing. It's not an ethnic, it's not defined by that, it's defined by ideas. What have we done as Western civilization? We have largely introduced women into the workforce. We have less children. Our population is increasing pretty slowly when you compare it to the developing world. And here's where the issue kind of touches on the issue of immigration. Immigration and the environment are connected, even though some people do not see it that way. If we as a community and as a larger community on the federal level are doing a good job of controlling our population, why should we feel some sort of moral responsibility to accept people from countries when they have ruined their own countries and created more problems by having unsustainable population growth? I think empathy and sympathy are good things, but to a certain extent, you also need to stress personal responsibility. And you say, well, you can apply that to democratic countries, but what about countries that have not yet overthrown regimes? What about people coming out of those countries? It is their responsibility to join the fight for freedom. When you have a regime in power over your community, it is your job to join the fight. You cannot go to a different country, a country that's already developed, and just cozy down there until the conflict is over. And this is one problem that is being faced by the world as a whole. As we advance forward, good things are happening. We're being introduced to a diversity of opinion. There's so many paths that we can go down, and that's a good thing. We have lots of options. But what happens when we progress as well, there's new problems that we are going to encounter, and we need to face up to them. We need to start talking about them. We cannot be scared to talk about them. And this touches on the problem of language. People use terms, they use trigger words, they use words that elicit emotion, and people get in these discussions which are worthless. I'll be talking more about this in future videos. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys next week. Make sure to comment down below. I always enjoy talking to people in the comment section, learning about their opinions, just finding new perspectives. So make sure you comment, and I'll see you guys.